The airport was bustling with the usual controlled chaos, flight announcements echoing through the terminals, the shuffle of luggage wheels, and the tired eyes of travelers chasing time zones. Among them were Maya and Leah, two childhood best friends from a small town in Oregon who were flying to New York City for a job interview they could barely afford. They had saved for months, working late-night diner shifts and taking odd gigs on weekends just to afford the plane tickets. To their absolute surprise, a flight booking glitch had mistakenly placed them in first class, something they'd only dreamed of but never imagined experiencing. Their eyes lit up as they stepped into the luxury cabin, plush leather seats, welcome drinks, and warm smiles from the flight attendants. For two girls used to stretching every dollar, it felt surreal. "I feel like we don't belong here," Leah whispered, clutching her backpack like a lifeline. Maya smiled nervously. "Maybe just this once, the universe gave us a break." As the other passengers filtered in, an elderly man with a slow gait and a weathered face appeared near the front. He looked confused, even distressed. The attendant tried to gently guide him to the economy section, but the man struggled to understand. It turned out, he had mistakenly booked the wrong seat. He was supposed to be up front, but a mix-up had sent him to the back of the plane, next to a noisy restroom and between two passengers who already seemed annoyed. Maya looked at Leah, her eyes softening. "Do you see that?" Maya murmured. "He's probably over 80, he shouldn't be crammed in the back." Leah nodded. "I was just thinking the same thing." Without a word, they stood up and approached the flight attendant. "Excuse me," Maya said politely. "Would it be okay if we gave him our seats?" The attendant blinked. "Are you sure, miss? These are premium class seats." "We're sure," Leah chimed in. "Please, let him have them." The elderly man, overhearing the exchange, looked up with watery eyes. "Why would you do that?" he asked, his voice frail and trembling. Maya smiled gently. "Because you deserve to be comfortable, sir. You remind me of my grandfather." The girls helped him into one of their seats, and the flight crew, visibly touched, quietly upgraded Maya and Leah to an extra row in economy with more legroom than usual. Still, it was a far cry from the luxury they'd just surrendered. But they didn't care. They watched from their seats as the old man was served tea in fine china, offered a warm blanket, and slowly relaxed into the plush chair with a look of peace. He glanced back once, meeting their eyes and mouthing two simple words, "Thank you." The flight was long, but something about it felt different. They weren't flying first class anymore, but in their hearts, they had never felt richer. When they landed at JFK, the old man was waiting for them at the terminal exit. He gently held Maya's hand. "You girls, you have no idea what that meant to me. Thank you again." Then he disappeared into the crowd. Leah sighed. "Well, that was amazing." Maya nodded. "I hope he gets where he needs to go." They didn't even ask his name. The next morning, the girls put on their thrifted business suits and headed to their interview. Nervous, hopeful, and running on cheap hotel coffee, they walked into the marble lobby of one of the biggest media companies in Manhattan, Bradley and Royce Communications. They were ushered into the waiting room with other candidates in designer suits and polished accents. Maya and Leah exchanged anxious glances. "Hey," Maya whispered, "no matter what happens, I'm proud of us." Then the HR manager stepped in. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Mr. Royce will be selecting just 2 candidates today for a special mentorship program. Please follow me." "Wait, Mr. Royce? The same name as the company?" As they walked toward the boardroom, the giant double doors opened, and sitting at the head of the long table was the elderly man from the plane. Leah nearly dropped her purse. Maya gasped audibly. The old man smiled warmly and stood up. "Good morning. I'm Arthur Royce, chairman and co-founder of this company. And before we begin, I'd like to tell you a story." He turned his gaze to Maya and Leah, now wide-eyed and speechless. Yesterday, on a flight from Oregon, two young women did something that no money could ever buy. They gave up comfort, luxury, and even their own dream moment, for a stranger. That stranger was me. The room fell silent. They didn't know who I was. They didn't expect anything in return. They just acted out of kindness. And that, my friends, is the kind of character this company was built on. He paused. I've already made my decision. Maya and Leah, welcome to Bradley and Royce. The room burst into stunned whispers. The girls were frozen. Leah finally whispered, "Is this really happening?" Maya's voice cracked. "We just did what felt right." Arthur smiled. "Exactly. And that is why everything changes for you, starting now." Arthur Royce's words echoed in the room long after he stopped speaking. Maya and Leah sat frozen, unsure if they were dreaming or part of some elaborate prank. But it was real. Within minutes, they were swept away to meet the executive team, offered cappuccinos in bone china cups, and handed internship packets personally signed by Arthur himself. "This isn't just an internship," he said. "It's a fast-track mentorship. You'll shadow department heads, contribute to real campaigns, and if all goes well, you'll have permanent offers within 6 months." Still in shock, the girls left the building that day feeling like the New York wind had shifted in their favor. "I can't believe it," Maya whispered as they stepped into the cold air. Leah nodded slowly. "That was the man we gave our seat to. The billionaire. The founder of one of the biggest media empires in the country. And we didn't even know his name. Until today." Over the next few weeks, their lives transformed. Maya, with her love for storytelling, was placed in the content development team, helping to shape digital campaigns for global brands. Leah, ever sharp with numbers and strategy, joined the analytics and planning division. They worked long hours, but they didn't mind. They were exactly where they were meant to be. Arthur Royce didn't hover over them, but he kept a close eye. He'd often walk past their desks and drop encouraging notes or share an old business war story from his early days. He treated them like his own granddaughters. But what Maya and Leah didn't know was that Arthur had been keeping a journal, and one of his final goals before stepping down as chairman was to find people worthy of carrying his legacy forward. One night, after a particularly challenging pitch meeting, Arthur invited them to his private suite at the top of the company's skyscraper. "I want to tell you something personal," he said, pouring them tea with careful hands. "My wife passed away 3 years ago. We used to travel together. Always first class. She said it was her one indulgence in life." His voice softened. "That flight, the one where you gave up your seats, was the first flight I've taken alone since her passing." Silence fell. "That seat reminded me of her. The kindness you showed me that day, it felt like her whispering through you both. I don't think it was an accident. I think it was divine." Tears welled in Maya's eyes. Leah looked away to hide her trembling lips. "I didn't just want to thank you," Arthur continued. "I wanted to pay it forward. So I created something." He handed them each a cream-colored envelope. Inside was a legal document. With a $250,000 education and life grant awarded to each of them, to be used however they wished. Maya shook her head, overwhelmed. "We can't accept this." Arthur held up a hand. "You already earned it. The day you gave up what you didn't have much of, for someone else." But the twist didn't end there. 2 weeks later, Arthur Royce held a press conference. The media had caught wind of the story, the billionaire saved by the kindness of 2 girls from Oregon. News outlets ran headlines like, "Strangers in the Sky, Kindness Launches Girls from Poverty to Power." From diner shifts to boardroom seats, how 2 women changed a billionaire's life. Social media exploded with admiration. Offers rolled in, scholarships, speaking invitations, even book deals. But the biggest twist came when Arthur made his final announcement. "I am retiring," he said, smiling at the cameras. "And I am establishing a foundation in my late wife's honor, the Clara Royce Kindness Initiative. It will fund education and mentorships for underprivileged women across the country." He turned to the side, and gestured toward Maya and Leah. "And these two will lead it." The cameras flashed. The girls looked at each other in disbelief. "We're not ready for this," Leah whispered. Arthur smiled. "That's what I thought once too, and someone gave me a chance. Now it's your turn." 1 year later. The foundation opened offices in 4 cities. Hundreds of girls applied. Maya and Leah toured the country, sharing their story, meeting students, and helping young women believe in a future they once thought was out of reach. And every time they were asked how it all began, they smiled and said, "It started on a plane, with a small choice that didn't feel small at the time." Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness ripple into life-altering waves. Maya and Leah didn't know who they were helping, and they didn't help to be noticed. But their selflessness opened doors they never knew existed. This story reminds us that you never know who's watching, who you're inspiring, or how one moment of compassion can change everything. Kindness isn't just contagious. It's transformational.